angels and dark mothers alike, and welcome to the final fair and unbiased episode, final review in general for Shadowhunters Season 2. 2B in general. I finally don't have to keep saying 2A, 2B, 2C. There's no 2C. Yes, I'm standing. No, it's not because I'm too lazy to pull my desk out from the wall. What are you talking about? Sorry, this review's a bit late. I haven't been well again these past few days, and it wasn't the kind of sick where I could just sort of waffle through it. Like, legitimately, I couldn't, like, my nose was blocked up and it was like running continuously, so I wouldn't have been able to get away with talking continuously for a continuous amount of time. So yeah, this is coming at you on a Sunday instead of a Friday. I suppose it helps that this is the last episode so it doesn't run into next week's episodes, or what would have been next week's episodes if it hadn't have been the finale. So let's not waste any more time and let's just jump straight into what I need to talk about for this review. First thing I want to talk about is actually a reference to my first thoughts episode for this episode, Beside Still Waters. Is it Beside Still Waters or Beside Still Water? Because I'm saying like different things everywhere. I've been calling it Beside Still Waters, but if anyone knows the real one, let me know. I need to reference back to my first thoughts episode for Beside Still Waters because someone pointed something out to me about Clary's wish, and I figured that this was going to come up eventually because even I thought this when this event happened in the books. I was thinking this exact same thing when Clary made her wish for Jace to come back to life. It's selfish, is what people argue. On my Discord chat, a friend of mine, Sonia, her Tumblr name is Sonia's World of Fandom, she wanted me to talk about how it is selfish for Clary to wish for Jace back to life. And where I would normally agree with her, like, I would agree with anything that trashes Clary, really, I can't agree with it this time. If you've watched my podcasts with my friend Neve about the book City of Glass, where all this happens, we talked about how it is selfish of Clary to wish for Jace to come back to life. But the reason that we thought this was because in the book there's a different character that dies who Clary could have easily have wished to come back to life instead of Jace. Someone who was much younger, had much more potential, and just, it would have been less selfish for her to wish them to come back to life instead of Jace. And it could be argued that there are other characters who are dead in the series who Clary could have wished for to come back to life instead of Jace. But the difference is, in the series, Jace has a lot more impact on different characters than anyone else who Clary could have wished for to come back to life. Let's take the people who have died in this series. There's Jocelyn, Clary's mum. And there may or may not be Dot. We don't know if Dot's alive or dead yet. But the way they seem to be acting, it seems like Dot is gone. But Dot and Jocelyn are directly related to Clary. They only impact Clary's life, really. And they really, apart from Clary and Luke, let's say, they don't really have relations to any of the other characters. When you then consider Jace, who is Alex Parvati and brother, he's Isabel's brother, he's Max's brother, he's Merson Roberts' son, he is adoptive son, he is Inquisitor Herondale's grandson. Jace has a lot more relations and a lot more people who would be impacted by his death than, let's say, Jocelyn and Dot. That is why, in the series, it is not as selfish for Clary to wish for Jace to come back to life instead of, say, Jocelyn or Dot. And the reason that it was more selfish in the books was because this other character that died was a child. You know, someone who had so much more potential and so much more to show and give the world and prove to themselves than someone who was older like Jace. And I don't think it was selfish for Clary to wish for Jace to come back to life this time around because, one, this character doesn't die in the TV series, this younger character doesn't die, and two, Jace has a lot more people who'd be impacted with his death than just Clary. There's Alec, Isabel, Maris, Robert, Max, Inquisitor Herondale. There are a lot more people who would be impacted by his death than just Clary. And on the surface, it seems like it's selfish. And you know what? Clary probably did think about it for selfish reasons. She probably didn't consider Alec, Isabel, or anything like that. She probably was thinking for herself. But it still stands that Jace impacts a lot more people than anyone else that Clary could have wished for to come back to life. And besides, as I said in first thoughts, I don't think Jocelyn can be brought back to life now. After the rite of mourning, I think that's her gone. Her soul has passed, or whoever Shadowhunters do it, or however they believe the soul moves on beyond that. So I don't really think it was selfish for Clary to wish for Jace to come back to life. In fact, especially since he literally just died in front of her, it was still fresh in her mind. It was probably all that she could think about in that moment. And besides the fact that Jocelyn and Dot might be dead, and what else was she going to wish for? She told the angel that she didn't want what Valentine said to do to the Darmwalders. She didn't want that, so the Darmwalders were safe in that regard. So what else was there to wish for, really? I mean, I made the joke that she could wish for world peace in my first thoughts episode, but really, let's be realistic. If any of us were given a wish, would we really wish for world peace? I mean, maybe I'm just a selfish cunt, who really knows, but I really wouldn't. You like to say that you would, but when you're faced with it, you probably wouldn't. So, no, I don't think Clary was being selfish in the TV show. In the books, fuck yes. In the TV series, no. It was completely different. And I don't think it was selfish for Clary to wish for Jace to come back to life. That's just me. Let's talk about the moment we've all been waiting for. The thing that we've been waiting for since they broke up. Malec got back together. Thank fucking God. I think I talked about this a couple of episodes ago, that the conflict between Magnus and Alec was a lot more different from the conflict that they had in the books. And I don't know if this is the breakup or just a smaller conflict between them, but if they do have more troubles, let's say down the line, this conflict has shown that the writers certainly know what they're doing when it comes to writing Malec and their conflict. It wasn't just, well, as the way it went in the books, you're not coming out of the closet for me, so I'm going to ignore your calls until you come out. Like, when you hear it back like that, you really wonder how these books got published with this kind of behaviour in it. But of course, they're a pioneer for LGBT representation, don't you know? Yes, I really preferred this conflict from the TV series in comparison to the conflicts that Malec have in the books. In the books, all the conflict that they have is basically about dating and jealousy and very spiteful and vengeful stuff. And considering the fact they admitted their love for each other in episode 10 of season 2A, it's really hard to believe that they would really get up each other's asses about who they dated and who they were jealous about and stuff like that. And even Matthew Daddario said so himself, that he doesn't like conflict like that, and he doesn't think it's very real, because who really cares who's dated who in the past? It's not exactly something that, it's sure something you could be a bit insecure about, but it's not exactly something you breed a whole conflict about. So yes, I really like the way they dealt with the conflict in the show. I think that it was a lot more natural, and it made a lot more sense than just being like your petty jealousy relationship drama. And I like the fact that Magnus and Alec actually talked at the end of the episode about their problems, instead of maybe like when Magnus's powers ran out, there was a big dramatic moment where like Alec was like, no, and like kissed him, and it was all slow-mo, and like, I don't know, Arcade Fire was playing in the background to like build up the drama. Like, can you... I'm really glad they didn't do that. They went for the realism, because in real life, if your ex kissed you when you didn't want them to, you would slap him. It doesn't, whether you have feelings for them or not, kissing someone against their will, especially when you're not in a relationship, it doesn't go down the way that they portray it in TV shows or movies as well. So I'm glad that they didn't have like a big cheesy dramatic moment where like when Magnus closed up the portal and defeated the demons, and Alec they had like a moment where Alec was like, no, and then kissed him, because that just would have been cheesy, and I probably would have said that I liked it because I'm a Malec whore. But in terms of realism, I like that they're making the relationship realistic, and they're not just going for like big dramatic cheesy moments that make you kind of cringe a bit. So yes, I really like how Malec was handled in this episode. I love seeing them working together. They were very cold to each other on the start, and that was hard to see, but it was nice to see them kind of working together and then eventually having that talk and then getting back together, because if they hadn't got back together, I would have cried. My soul would have died a little bit, because I know that we all know they would have gotten back together eventually, but it was just like, if they hadn't have gotten together by the end of the season, then it would have been, have to wait until January 2018 to see Malec together again. But thankfully they didn't do that. They actually considered the fact that we all might die if we had to wait for more Malec, and they got back together, and it was they had a mature conversation. They were both adults about it. There was no more spite, no vengeful comments, no, just, they were being adults. Believe it or not, that is something you don't get in the books. You get to see Magnus and Alec act like adults, because, they are adults. And I just liked how they handled Malec. I don't know how many other ways to say it. I really like that they were realistic. I like the way they handled it. And I'm glad they got back together, because if they hadn't gone back together before the end of season 2B, my soul would have died a little. And imagine recording a video with like half a soul. It wouldn't be pretty. I want to talk a wee bit more about Jace dying and Alec's reaction to it, because this, as I said, was a problem in City of Glass. When Jace died, there was no real mention about what Alec felt. And the reason that this could be argued was because it was in Clary's point of view, and Alec was fighting a battle, and you can't exactly have suddenly like switching to from Clary to Alec in a battle. I get that. I understand that. But the fact that it wasn't mentioned again for another 2 books before it eventually comes up, that it's like, hey Alec, when Jace died, did you feel anything? And he's like, oh yeah, sure, it was fucking awful. And you're like, what? It's a very... I've discussed the theory that people have on why Cassandra Clare wrote this in, and you can see that in First Thoughts if you want, but the real thing that I want to talk about is how the show handled this. The show did it so well. They showed it in a teaser trailer that Alec's Parvati rune was going to hurt. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, fuck. I was like, no. I was kind of like, yes and no at the same time. Because I was like, yes, they're going to show this, but no, Jace is going to die. I mean, I don't care about Jace all that much, but I don't want the guy to die. I mean, like, fuck. I don't want Clary to die either, believe it or not. Unless it was the soul sword, that's how you say it. Unless it was the soul sword plot, then Clary had to die, except she didn't, but we won't get into that argument again. And I was excited, and they did it real justice. Like, Alec was in agony, he was having flashbacks to their childhood. We were all in pain. He was on the floor. It was so well acted. Matthew Daddario did it so well. I loved it. And I just wanted to kind of reiterate that in this episode, because I didn't feel like I touched on it enough in First Thoughts. I just really liked that they actually showed, hey, these guys share souls. When one of them dies, the other's going to fucking feel it, and it's not going to be fucking nice. Because I discussed this in the comments section with one of my viewers. Cassandra Clare has a very tell, don't show kind of way to her writing. She tells you that Alec and Jace share souls and they're Parvati, but she doesn't really show anything to do with that. Anything that would actually show that they care about each other. The most creative thing I think I saw her write to do with the Parvati bond was that when Alec fell into water in City of Ashes, Jace tasted salt water in his mouth. And that's about the extent of it. And anything beyond that was just kind of lazy. And then we were told that Alec was in pain when Jace died instead of actually physically seeing it ourselves. So it was really good to see this in the show. It was really good to see the Parvati bond get the justice it deserves. I've said this multiple times when the Parvati bond has been used in an episode. It's getting the justice it deserves in the show. And it's not just they're not just saying, oh, Alec and Jace share souls, but like nothing's going to happen with that. We're going to go nowhere with that. So yes, it was nice to finally see the Parvati bond get the justice it deserves, and it was very well acted by Matthew Daddario and Dominic Sherwood both. So Clary killed Valentine. There's not much to say besides that. Clary killed Valentine. She actually fucking did something. Can you believe it? She actually got up and kicked some ass. I was rooting for her in this episode. I was rooting for Clary. Can you believe it? To be fair, there's still the whole complication on how Clary can actually fight like this, because we've never actually really seen, or there's never been any mention of Clary training all that much, but who gives a shit, really? That's a speck of glitter in a sea of sand of problems at the moment. I do not care that we have not really seen Clary train that much. It's a bit annoying when they try and convince us that she can fight off Jason and Isabel at the same time when drugged up and shit like that, but honestly, it's not that big an issue. It's probably all happening behind the scenes anyway. So, Clary killed Valentine and she got his wish, and that's where the wish happened. You know, the wish. The wish we talked about at the start of the episode. And before that, we saw that Jace is super strong because of his angelic runes. He broke free of his handcuffs. And Malachi Diadun, is it pronounced? Malachi Diadun? Malachi was working with Valentine. He was a circle member, but he's dead now, so we shouldn't really give him much attention anyway. He's fucking dead. So, yeah, we saw that Jace has more abilities. He's strong. I think he was only strong in the books. I'm not sure. I can't remember there ever being activating the runes in the book. I don't think there was. So, yeah, he's super strong. They incorporated that in. Clary can invent runes. They're basically like some sort of angelic power couple, which is kind of fucking cheesy when you think about it, but it's Clace. The Clace fans have been waiting for this for like how long? So we'll let them have it. You know what? You can have it. You've earned it, Clace fans. You've waited and you've earned it. Let's take a minute to talk about Ollie. Yes, I finally figured out what her fucking name was. Ollie. Ollie. I don't like you, Ollie. Who sees footage of someone toasting to werewolves and thinks, fuck, they're real life werewolves. I must go and talk to them and probably bribe them because this seems like it's going to be a conflict. What? I can't. Looking back on it, there were other signs that there are real werewolves in this world to Ollie. Like her and her girlfriend got a picture of a werewolf, but it could have just been a big dog. No one in real life thinks, oh, he just toasted to werewolves. That must be a werewolf pack. They're all fucking werewolves. That's why he acts so strange. As I pointed out before, they could have been RPGers, could have been LARPers, they could have been furries. Why did she not consider any of these? She could have went. There are people who legitimately believe, human beings who legitimately believe that they are dogs or werewolves or, I don't know, an owl or a sewer rat, and they put on their little tails and their ears and they pretend to be it, and there's that meme video of that guy howling at the ocean. Maybe they're one of them people. You don't know. No one thinks real werewolves. No one's that smart, and you will not convince me that Ollie is that clever to immediately just jump to real life werewolves, because nobody thinks that. Nobody thinks like that. I know for TV shows you have to suspend your disbelief a little bit, but no. A blog that I follow on Tumblr, and I assume they watch my videos because they asked me this, and it must have been to do with my video. Annotating Archangels sent me this message saying, honestly, Ollie thinking Luke is a werewolf because he toasted to werewolves or whatever is kind of like if she thought the Pittsburgh Penguins were all penguins in disguise because they call themselves that. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the gist of it. This series could have progressed just fine without Ollie there. I'm sorry, she's a useless character, and to have her do this at the very end, like it's extremely shoved in just to have her go, so how long have you been werewolves? Or whatever it was she said. It just doesn't fit. She doesn't fit. Ollie and her girlfriend don't fit in this series at all. It feels like they were just shoved in for whatever reason. And I don't like them. They're not likable characters. They're both just meddling where they don't really belong. And I get that she's a good detective or whatever, but again, no detective. A detective, someone who considers rational ideas and considers the most plausible outcomes, jumps to real life werewolves. I'm sorry, no. It just doesn't fit, and it's very shoved in, and I think it was useless, and that's all I really have to say on it. So Simon is now also with the Seelie Queen. The Seelie Queen made a deal with Simon to I'm assuming to get Maya, it's Maya, isn't it? Yes, to get Maya out of the forest that they trapped her in. And I don't know what the Silly Queen wants with him. I'm assuming because he's a daylighter, she maybe just wants him to be part of her court, or maybe she wants to court him. Who knows? But we'll have to wait to season 3 to know for sure. And of course Simon did it, because Simon's a selfless, almost said selfish, that's wrong. He's a selfish little bunny rabbit who would do whatever to protect people, especially his girlfriend and the people he cares about. So of course our poor Simon had to go and get himself in trouble like this. But I have confidence that as soon as Clary and co find out, it'll all get sorted. I hope. And then at the very end, Sebastian and his mother. Yes, I can't say anything. Again, the demons that were flying around New York all accumulated together to form Sebastian's mother. And I don't know if it's a secret who Sebastian's mother is, but I'm not going to say in case it is. Because Jocelyn did carry Jonathan, but he has another mother. He is a mother from another mother. And I'm not going to say who the mother is in case it is a spoiler. I really don't think it would be, but I'm not going to say in case it is. So, yeah, there's that. There's Sebastian's mother in the mix, and I know where they're going with it, obviously, because I read the book. So I know where they're going with this plot and what they're going to do with his mother. But they say they're going to change things up as usual, so that'll be interesting. And honestly, it was a really strong finale. It was really epic. It had me crying at parts. It had me tearing up, getting excited, edge of my seat. It was a really good finale. It served its purpose to get us pumped and then kind of devastated that we have to wait until 2018 for more. But it's not that far away. 4 months, I suppose. So you're going to get 4 months of some original content from Aaron that isn't based on Shadowhunters completely. Aren't you excited? Probably not. Who wants to listen to me ramble about things that aren't Shadowhunters for 4 months? So, that's it for Fair and Unbiased until 2018, Shadowhunters, Angels, and Darkmothers alike. I hope some of you guys will stick around to listen to me ramble for 4 months. Like, I understand that some of you don't want to and just sort of disappear for a while and then come back when season 3 happens. I would completely understand. But, yeah, I'm going to do some videos that aren't about Shadowhunters and are about Shadowhunters. I'm going to have a little mix in there, so we'll see how things turn out. So, I'll see you next week, Shadowhunters, Angels, and Darkmothers like. And remember, let's have more Drunk Luke in season 3, because he is just a treasure and I love him. And he deserves some happiness, okay? So, yes, more Drunk Luke, please.